Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
My name is Maya. I live on 10th Avenue, and I've been in Oak Park since 2017.
My name is Phoenix. I live on 15th Avenue, and tomorrow is my first anniversary of
My name is Bruce Stackman, and myself and my colleague Dan are here from the University of California Master Gardens Program. And we're here just to bring the information about the University of California resources and their Master Gardening Program, workshops and things like that to help our community, because we recognize that it's a program that is around Sacramento. It's you go through the community as a part of people don't know about it. So we want to make sure people know about it, understand the resources, and want to just figure out how we can get involved in Oak Park and for all of you as we have for everywhere else in San
My name is Janet George, and I'm UC Master Gardener with Cruz, and I live on 59 Oaks.
I'm Gloria Abbott, and I've been in Oak Park since the 50s, and live on 53rd.
Hi everyone, my name is Rosie. I'm one of the OPNA board members, and I've been in the company since 2017.
Hi everyone, I'm Sumi Kohong. I work at UC Davis at Aggie Square, so I work at Stockton between 2nd and 3rd.
Okay, I'm Autumn. I've been here a couple years now, and I live on 33rd and 4th Avenue. Also, I'm the co-lead of the Land Use and Government Relations Committee.
All right. Hi, I'm Irie. Grew up in Oak Park, lived here for about 15 years, moved away, just moved back in October, and I live on First Avenue.
Richard Goodman, I've been for 5 years.
I'm Carlo. I live on 8th and 45th, 8th Avenue, and I've been a homeowner since 2004.
I'm Robert, live at 36 in High Street, and since 1989.
Hello, everybody. Loyal Terry, co-director of Government and Land Use Committee, and also on the board as well. Oh, I live on 37 First.
And I forgot to shout out Flowers Fish Market. They provided the food tonight. So yeah, 9th Avenue folks, you guys seem to have a lot in common and come out tonight for something. So we'd like to hear from you, and we will break up into committees in a while, and one of them will be land use, and I think you guys should go to that table when we do that. So go ahead, anybody want to start it off?
I guess I'll start off because I started with the distance. But we're only here because the building that is being built on 9th Avenue and 45th and 8th Avenue is called the Donor Field Senior Apartment. As a resident here, we have no issue with the senior community. They are welcome there. But the last couple of years, we've been going through some major changes. When I moved here in 2009 with my brother and my mom and dad and his family, my brother's family, the school that is right now is William Lee College Prep Elementary School. That was I'm guessing it was a community health clinic, and then it closed for a year, and then 2012 the school was opened up. At that time, it was only the school. The lot that is currently being used to be built for a senior citizen home was a vacant lot. 2014, a track was added there for the students and the kids' activities. At that time, the school didn't have no parking for the teacher, parents, or anybody else, and they still don't. They do have parking, but it's only 10 cars. When I did my research, I heard they went in to try to buy that vacant plot of land. I guess they were denied, or they just weren't able to. And then on the corner of 9th and Stockton, there's another vacant lot, which is now being used to build housing for low income. Our question as residents there is, where are we gonna park after that low income building, which is up already 5 stories? And the Donner Field Senior Apartments is done being built. Where are we gonna park? When that school was approved, some of us, we talked to the city of Sacramento to get speed bumps, because some of the drivers, when they're late for work in the morning, they don't drive like they're supposed to. We were denied because the street is too narrow. And then, yeah, that's what our concern is of our parking. So,
And even before the school, that piece of land, at one time they wanted to build some track homes there. And we were notified, as residents, we were notified that this was going to take place. We had the opportunity to go to City Hall and meet with them and vote against it, so that, because there was other homes that were being built that were just kind of abandoned. I think we probably live in one of them. And we wanted those, instead of taking a good piece of land and building new homes, we wanted the vacant land to be utilized first and leave that for the kids and for the community to access. We were notified. Every time somebody wants to add to their home, if they want to, build like one of these little houses behind it or in the community, they notify us. I mean, we have an opportunity to give feedback. We had no opportunity. The first thing I heard about it was on social media. We're really not happy with it. We're not happy that we weren't allowed to give input and that you taken away something that could have been placed somewhere else. We're already crowded, like you said, with these low-income apartments, and it's a perfect place for it because we have bus lines right there. We have grocery stores that people that can access real food instead of using some neighborhood market that the prices may be higher, the food might be substandard, which at times during Oak Park, that's all that we had. If you didn't have a car to travel, you didn't have access to decent food and services. We have community health. So I understand why, but there's also other lots that they could have utilized, and instead of taking away ours, and like the speed bumps, the issue. Frequently, I'm at the dead end, so frequently I'm going up the street, they're coming around, I can't tell you, probably every other day I'm almost hit. Nobody expects me to be driving from the end of 45th towards 9th, 8th Avenue. And, I'm getting old, so I'm going to get in another accident.
So I thank you for that, and I really do want to thank the advocates who are here from that part of the park. I want to just to contextualize OPNA a little bit, because I think I want to continue having the discussion, but I want to set some, just some, make sure we're all clear on what we can do and what we can't, because the Oak Park Neighborhood Association, we're a 501c3 nonprofit. We've been around for 20 years in our own park, right? And we're an advocate for the community. We've been having these monthly meetings here for years and years and years. And we can write letters to our, elected officials about, the things that we're hearing in the neighborhood, right? We can share information. We have a, 2,500 email newsletter that some of you guys might get. We have 7,000 people in our Facebook group that some of you guys might be a member of. We can take positions on things, but we aren't the council, right? So I just want to make sure that's smart, right? We're not the council member. I think the council member is doing another event on December 18th, that we're going to all just go to as well here, that I believe will feature the developer of this particular project, and will probably be a lot of information shared, and probably some Q&A. It probably won't be an open discussion like this. That would just be my prediction. So I'm glad we're having an open discussion about it tonight, because like OPNA is a learning organization, and we build and we evolve by listening to residents. So just to give you another couple of examples of the kind of positions we've taken in the past, we've been, active on the Aggie Square conversation, that ultimately ended up in a community benefits agreement that has been beneficial to the community, right? We've been active on the MLK Broadway intersection. 12 accidents in 10 years, 2 of them fatal. We were instrumental in working with the city to, I know it sometimes gets backed up on my way here, I'm sorry. But that intersection has been heck of a lot safer since they put in that quick build project, right? So these are the sorts of things we have to get around specific housing projects. Another, an example of a really successful letter we wrote was our ladies of Shiloh Baptist Church in the neighborhood had a good chunk, I'll just say, over like $20,000 worth owed to SMUD for some work that had been done on the building. We sent a letter to SMUD saying, hey, they can't afford this, and they canceled that debt. So it saved Shiloh Baptist Church $20,000. Just from a letter that the neighborhood association wrote. So I just want to say, hey, yeah, we can write letters, we can take positions, but those letters can be powerful, right? And so we're recording this meeting tonight. We always record every meeting. They're put them on YouTube, for the record, and we'll look back on this, as we have this conversation, as we consider like a position that OPNA can take. And it might not be as simple as yes, support the project or no, oppose the project. It might be like, hey, let's make these tweaks, right? Something like that. We've done that in the past. So I just wanted to say that to make sure we're like clear on kind of what OPNA is, what we do here, and then just call out again. Autumn Loyal, right there, those two, are our land use leads. And so they're good people to know in the neighborhood because they track projects and they get activated and they're knowledgeable about housing. So just sharing that information.
Can I just add one thing? I just want to add one thing. And it looks like there's a lot of community involvement here. I mean, I'm way too old to even consider it. But when I did look up our council person, because when I called their office, when I first saw it, and there was no parking on site for this, I was like, it was like, well, I'm not giving me. I'm like, well, I'll relay the message. I said, well, if it doesn't have on-site parking, I don't want to sit in a meeting, because that's one of my concerns. But, so I'm looking today, and I understand that she was the only person on the ballot. So that's why our council person is in the position. So maybe the next election, if somebody's more passionate and that's what they want to do, and we feel that we can have you can do a better job representing the community, I'd like to see your name on the ballot and support you for that.
I'd like to add something what the brother was saying, your concern, right? This might be one of us. Maybe what the Lord has built out of this. From my understanding, it's a process, right? We as constituents, when we have a complaint or concern or something similar to yours, right? We get together in form a discussion, then we make the next step is to take label our elected officials to put it on, I guess, an argument on Tuesday, where we can go to the city hall and actually raise that concern. You know a little bit more information on how that process goes?
Hello. Just giving some of the work that we do, the Government and Land Use Committee, what we're kind of building community competency around is that very process there. Just to give some perspective, I work for the Democratic Majority Leader here at our state capitol. We have many community members here who had various different experiences working at different levels of government, nonprofit, for-profit. So the first step is you all bringing this. I personally didn't know that this was a concern. So hearing that from you all is not great that there is a concern, but great that we're having a conversation. If you'd like, we have our next Government and Land Use Committee next week. And with that, we would love to have more robust conversations, as well as the conversation we have over here, kind of getting into some of those specific concerns. I mean, if the buck starts and stops on parking, then that makes the conversation very easy. If it's a little bit more complicated with regards to using vacant land in ways that help meet the community needs of existing members and allows the community to continue to grow, happy to have a much more longer and nuanced conversation around that. But yeah, we have board members that also work in Cave Maples office. We have board members that work, or people in the community that come here regularly that are in Mayor McCarty's office. So this will not stop here. So it'll be great to, as we break off into this conversation, build that out, and then if we're not able to gain consensus, create a nuanced position and articulate that in our follow-up meeting. So we will have the council member here during our launch New Year meeting, January 8th, I believe is that following Thursday. And the Government and Land Use Committee will be drafting a couple questions that we'd like to ask of the council member based on the conversations we've had throughout the year. So happy that y'all are here and just start a little longer conversation.
And Councilmember Maple did have an opponent in the 22 election. It was Tango and Mike. And both of them campaigned right in. So is Councilmember Maple your representative?
Yes.
Okay, so she didn't run out of votes. There was an actual campaign, and there were a lot of activities, and both of them campaigned hard throughout the district.
For the government, is next week, is there any conversation around the new law in California that could be considered kind of pro-development, lower parking restrictions on business corridors like Broadway after the fact? Is that all around the conversation?
It can be.
Yeah, I need a little more into that specific law, but I haven't heard about it. And I can talk about like what the effect different ways could be with that.
We invite everybody to come with whatever questions or things that we have, so then for the following meeting, we either come with answers or more specific questions that we have collectively worked to answer. Yeah, that's a topic we can connect right after this event.
What's the date, time, and location of that meeting?
Monday at 6 at Oak Park Road.
Yep.
So where was it?
Monday, 6 p.m. at Oak Park Brewery.
Is that every Monday?
Not every Monday. So we will,
What's the date?
the 8th. Or the 5th.
Saturday.
Yes.
So there's a meeting, that's the Government and Land Use Committee working meeting, and then there's a meeting here at the community center, the 18th. That'll be run by Councilmember Katie Nicole. And then we also have her coming at our next general meeting in January, which is another opportunity. So all of these opportunities to build a larger argument, a larger group message.
And we've been blessed by a representative from the councilor's office. So thank you.
This development committee involved in this room.
And if you're not getting the emails for when these meetings are, come holler at Autumn or I so we can get you on that mailing list. We send out emails when we are having the next meeting and some of the things that we'll be discussing as well. So,
Also, I wanted to just say on the development, I was looking at the permits. So the first public permit that I can see for this is came out in June. I definitely heard about this a while back, but they're also the first actual permit for it is not public because I work for the city. I can see those goes back to 2019. So they've been planning this for a while. I don't know why some permits are public and some are not. And that's like something I should figure that out because if they're not public, you guys can't see them. And so that's just notified about that. But I don't know why you didn't get notified. And that's something I'm really curious about.
I have a question too regarding that, because if they had the first permit in 2019, did they do their environmental impact study at that point? And then they just use that moving forward, not taking into consideration the school and the new developments that are happening right on the same block? And if so, where can we see that report?
I would look into that. I don't know totally. But I also was looking up, it does have parking, so it's not too bad. I could talk to you, if anyone wants to talk about parking, I can talk about it. I've been reading a book. I've been doing a bunch of research on parking. I've been reading a book that's like 800 pages on parking. It's incredibly complex, and it's not as simple as more parking equals easier parking. Oftentimes it's the opposite, which is very weird, but it's very complex. But essentially, the solution, if you are dealing with parking problems right now in your area, anywhere around, isn't going to be restricting or forcing places to have more parking. It's often increasing alternatives to parking. And I could go on and on about this. I don't want to get too deep into it. But essentially, if you add, like, if you increase transit in Sacramento, that would include parking throughout the whole city. There's also a bunch of other things you can do, but I don't want to get too deep into it right now. But I just want to say that there's alternatives to, like, if you are worried about parking, the solution is to, like, advocate for more transit and more bikeability and things like that, because those do have positive effects on it.
To add to that, just kind of overall, Sacramento passed something where on a business corridor within a certain amount of time distance, you don't have parking requirements. So just keep
Oh,
that in
the
mind.
city actually, sorry, I said okay about that.
No.
The city actually removed all parking requirements and that's going to be the case in the new zoning. That doesn't mean that places won't provide parking. Places will often provide parking. But the way that it's set up in the past with the minimums, usually those minimums were significantly higher than was actually needed, and it creates a ton of other problems that I don't think we were getting to. But yeah, that's what we're talking about in the future is zoning. They're changing the zoning a bunch. They completely, like, there was a 2040 plan, did a whole, like, change in designations of land. And so this next year, they're doing comments right now. So if anyone's interested in how a city gets zoned, which will affect what gets built and what it looks like and all these different things, come to the next meeting.
I have a question about, maybe you guys are getting late, so I apologize, but the parking around while they're doing the work, since they're working around that, why can't they park where they work? Why do they have to park and cram themselves into driveways, we have, like, if we have 2-car homes, we can't even park down the block to unload my car. And we have these big trucks parked there, and they don't care, they're just idling, having their lunch there, while they have the entire thing blocked off, and they can park their car there. Why? Or they can negotiate, or they can negotiate with, like, Walgreens that closed down, put a cage around there and have their cars there and they can walk over or something. It's just ridiculous how there's no dignity, no respect, anything. And it's just their carte blanche. It's not even like, hey, we're here to work with. We're all people. And I think we have a lot of arrogance in the way they conduct themselves. And I think that needs to be corrected.
Let's do some intros for some of the folks that just walked in. Starting with Patty, who has a mouthful of food. Let's just want to make sure we're seeing who folks are and all that. So.
Hello, my name is Patty. I'm a board member and I live on 10th Avenue. Hi, I'm Aziza. I work for the Office of Councilmember Katie Maple. I'm the comms manager.
I think you walked in quite well. Not late, sorry.
I did. My name is Luna, I'm a resident.
Awesome. Anyone else? Yeah, go ahead.
Just for clarity, is everybody sitting at this table being affected by this issue? Is that?
Yeah. I'm over here too.
Hey, I get it. I have video.
It affects me.
Wow.
And I have a video today. This Lavanzo was one of them? Lavanzo? Oh, I'm sorry, the developer or the?
Well, the park, the senior housing park is the Donnerfield, senior apartment.
No, I just wanted to understand the scope. The basic numbers of who showed up tonight, who's actually being affected by it.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
So in regards to all this, because I know we've got a lot of feelings about this, and we've got a lot to say about it, and I know that we want to talk about other stuff. When we break out into our little separate committees, what is there an opportunity for us, as the residents who just learned about this, have no idea what's going on, how it happened, et cetera, how we can start engaging the city, like, who do we write to? Who do we, send emails to? Who do we have to call? Who do we have to write, a big letter? Do we write essays? Do we write is that an option for us to kind of learn what we can do in the interim before we have the opportunity to meet with city council member?
Yeah, it sounded like, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounded like you guys were creating a space, not just maybe starting tonight, but maybe more so on Monday, at OPNA, to at least, continue the conversation. Maybe the advocates and the, nearby neighbors can put together, just some like recommendations, right? So like, hey, if this were the perfect project, what would it look like, right? Or would it be, not exist, right? Just like what's the range of feelings, I guess? And I think that's how, like, just having a little bit more information and material to like have a conversation about. Would be good.
I would definitely second that, and this may be the opportune time to kind of transition into that. I don't know what else we have planned for the agenda, but like, would love to kind of get a little bit more into that nitty gritty and talking through what this all encompasses for you all. Again, if it's primary parking, that's one thing. If it's location, that's another thing. If it's people not respecting the adjacency to your property or blocking off, access to your home, then that can also trigger a separate department about safety regulation, making sure that if there's not a disaster or fire that people can get in safely. Like there can be multiple levels of stuff here, whether or not it's something that like OPNA endorses or doesn't endorse. The Government and Land Use Committee is for, as is the OPNA, is for everybody to talk through what's happening in the community, and then we can aggregate that and package it in a way that is most effective, leveraging each of our own experiences. So I'm so down to learn as much as you guys are willing to share about all of this, but I think it would be better if we kind of started doing that over here in the Government Land Use Committee. Does that sound good?
Yeah. Do you want to bring us up into?
I think most everyone here tonight is into the land use committee, so unless we have folks who want to do parks and beautification.
So,
I think it's worthwhile.
Board committees.
I think it's worthwhile. So OPNA obviously has a broad swath of interests that are dedicated to like supporting and advocating for our neighbors. There's obviously so much that happens in our neighborhood, so we can't do it all. So we created these volunteer committees to help us, push the needle on some of these efforts. We have a committee called Parks and Beautification, oriented to garden projects. We also are the steward of that garden on 34 Gateway, right when you come off the freeway. So projects like that, where we're trying to spruce up the area and do cleanups at Kimley's. So that's what that committee is focused on, efforts like that. If there's a project that you're interested in that aligns with that, we will make this table.
Yeah,
The
we're the
parks
master
and
gardener.
rec- Yeah, perfect. Beautiful. Obviously, we have the land use and government relations. In addition, I don't know if you want to describe it, maybe that would be better.
Yeah, I mean, our committee is what we've been doing. So as far as we have our existing agenda items that we talk about, based on the last committee meeting, we decided we wanted to prepare questions for the meeting that we had with Councilmember Maples' office, and come prepared both with some things off the cuff as things come up, but also some questions that kind of take in the aggregate community concerns that we've been having, as well as Autumn's great research in the land use. Vacant lots has been our primary, or one of our primary policy goals as of recent, so giving some more updates there. But anything happening in Oak Park that is either trickle down from something like HR 1 at the federal level to making sure that people are not blocking our driveways due to construction, are things that we talk about in Government and Land Use Committee. So we'll be chilling over here.
Yes, so I just wanted to know, when is the meeting with,
There's
Kate?
two opportunities.
What time?
The one on the 18th, I don't know, do you know the time?
6 or 5:30?
We will get that information.
So the one, sorry, so the one on the 18th is here
Yes.
at 6 p.m.
They're confirming time.
The one on the 8th is
6?
Yeah, 6 p.m.
Okay, on the 18th.
Yeah.
The other opportunity
Okay.
to talk to Kate Maple, well, she probably does a bunch of events, but the one that we know about is that she will be a speaker at our next general meeting, January 8th, in this room again. So a lot of opportunities there. And then we have two other committees, marketing and community outreach, because this room is full of just a small portion of our neighborhood, and we want to engage as many people as we can. And so that is going to be this table, I guess, because they're both here. And then the fourth committee is fundraising and events. So every summer, we host Celebrate Oak Park to just enjoy the summer with one another, celebrate, showcase a lot of the great businesses and artists in our neighborhood. And then fundraising, we always provide free food at these events, our monthly gatherings, and then we do a bunch of other events. And so that will be, I guess, it feels weird. Actually, okay, that feels good. Okay, so ladies, Celebrate Oak Park fundraising and events with Rosie will be in this table, and land use and government relations. It just feels, yeah, thank you for coming. That will be at this table. We'll just split up. We're going to have this more intimate conversations so that we can move the needle on some of these efforts.
And when should we wrap?
We should wrap at, what time is it? We should wrap at 7:15, so we have 15 minutes for community.
7:10.
7:10 feels good. 7:10 to do community updates. Thank you all. Also get to more community meetings.
other things that could happen, there's other pieces or things that are left issues that are
in general, because of the way that the intersection is set up, people don't have impact and impact is like, I think all
When can I do that? A 9 to 5 job. When I retire, Are you
First off, just want to say thank you all to the community members that came out here. gotten to a point of such frustration, so appreciate you all sharing that. I think it was a very productive meeting to outline exactly where the gaps were. I think a couple things that came up, a lack of communication and transparency for sure. There were some community members that have been notified in 2019, others that hadn't heard anything, and whether or not there was an initial communication made when the project started for new people that move into the community, there needs to be more frequent communication as people go back and forth, as well as concerns about privacy, concerns about egress and safety management, and like very legitimate concern. So I think there's opportunities for partnership with the school, opportunities for partnership with local community members, and kind of setting up future best practice so we don't have this problem again. So we'll have some people that will hopefully show up at the next OPNA Land Use and Government Committee meeting, where I'll be bringing a mock-up of what our letter was that we gave Mayor McCarty as a template for those impacted community members to use, so that we can then bring that for when Katie Maple is here and create a paper trail of our concerns on that project.
So yeah, your community members about the next time, let me know it's going to be an important one. And now we've got time for announcements. Charles, go ahead.
Charles, Oak Park Home, I just need to thank Oak Park Neighborhood Association for donating $500 to sleeping bag. And we have a way, a lot of very visionary people. And Saturday, great.
Wait,
3200 Broadway.
go back. You're still accepting donations for clothes, more things.
Sleeping bags, candy cards, socks.
This is for Christmas
We're
coming up.
going to be saying, we're not saying in the morning to different candidates past month.
So if you can't give, this is a great product to get to.
And you guys, real quick, if anybody is in need of Christmas trees, we will be at North Thomas Community Center this Saturday from 11 o'clock to about 1 o'clock. Limited number, so I'm not quite sure how many we're going to have, but I know we're going to do the next family happy. And then we'll have a choice between real trees and artificial trees.
Okay, perfect. Sound like a kingdom.
Christmas trees, artificial and real trees. Our Thomas Community Center. What day was that?
This Saturday.
Saturday.
So the District 5 office is hosting this year's Southside Santa, their annual Southside Santa. And the first stop at 5 p.m. is going to be Clash Park. Those who are very on a meeting board.
5 p.m.
5 p.m.
Yeah. 5 a.m. and I was like,
Oh! Oh, it's going to be on Sunday, December 14th. So that's like in 10 days. It's at 5 p.m. Starts at McClatchy. And then there's 4 more stops after that at Hill Phillips Elementary School, St. Robert's School, Argonaut Park, Trolley Park. And each stop is going to have hot cocoa for free and free photos with a professional Santa. All free. The best thing to enjoy Southside Santa is to pull up a little bit earlier, so you can get like a hot chocolate out of the way. And then once Santa pulls up for his 30-minute stop, you can take all the photos, and then he'll continue on. So I have flyers and those on the website with a little more information. So if anyone wants to.
Any other announcements?
Okay, so for a few months I've been talking about this youth workforce program. So applications are going to open soon. Our newsletter will have the link to the website, and the applications will come off the website. This Saturday, there's an information session about this program. It's at Aggie Square from 10 to 2. So if you know a high school junior or senior or community college student who's interested in getting hands-on with science and getting paid $20 an hour to participate in 2 full weekends during the school year and 3 full weeks next summer, please have them check out the program. They can come to the Saturday event, learn more about the program, give their feedback about the program design, or they can
So, it's gonna launch in January,
December 15th.
December 15th. So look out for that. There's gonna be a website on UC Davis. OPNA will definitely share it out, but send it to anyone you know that can, bring more resources and just make nearby neighborhoods better, like Oak Park, South Oak Park, Elmhurst, Colonial Heights, and South Oak Park. So definitely share it.
It's a pool of resources. It's about it's $150,000 in grant funding to small nonprofit organizations, individual artists, community-based organizations that work in one of those areas of youth, workforce development, art and public placemaking, and support for entrepreneurship. So if you know people who work in those spaces, be sure and let them know that the grant is opening soon, and you can send them to me, and I'm happy to send them the link and all the information. Yeah, and I have business cards and that. Get my contact. Yeah.
February is our elections for OPNA board. If you attended 3 meetings in a year and live in our district, Oak Park, or our neighborhood, I don't know why it sounds so big, and you are eligible to join this lovely board of this person, me, this person, this person. You can join us and volunteer, this person, Adrian, over there.
And you can work here too, it doesn't mean just live, right?
Yes, work as well. That's the goal. So join the board, volunteer, use 50 days like this meeting. And then also some of the 50 for food breaks, because we said 50 for flowers, but some go for it for the freshmen, so we use it.
So
Thank you,
elections
Mr.
is,
Cookies.
if elections is in, February, when do we sign up?
You can do it now. You could do it now. The link to the application is on our website, OPNA. What is our website?
I have an announcement too.
Okay.
And if don't ask us why we're .com. Old board members did that. I don't know why. We should be a .org. Anyway, so raise your hand if you know what an electric vehicle is. Raise your hand if you've heard of an electric vehicle. There's a couple of people. Okay. The city of Sacramento has a California Energy Commission grant for a project called EV Blueprint. And they are installing, there's at the front table you'll see a map, they're installing EV chargers and electric vehicle and car sharing infrastructure in underserved communities across the city of Sacramento, including in the parking lot right here. So I don't know if you've seen the 4 new chargers right there, but kind of next to the fire station, there's 4 new chargers that are publicly available that folks can access for charging. At some of the site, there's also electric vehicle car sharing. These are EVs, you can hop in, drive around, and we actually have $100 free credits right now if you sign up with this form. So that's like 25 hours of driving, I think, for free of this electric vehicle car share. So if you don't have a vehicle, if you want to drive clean, if you live near a hub, please consider it. It's really a cool program. Gas is it's not as expensive as it has been, but it's certainly not cheap. So check out this program. It's really cool. Car share, EV charging. Yeah. Appreciate it.
So thank you for the dessert. Get a cookie on your way out. Oh, you got an announcement?
Look at the wrong way. 401.
Anybody interested in First Friday? It's tomorrow.